This isn't your typical marketing software ad because HubSpot ain't typical. It's marketing made easy. Turn one piece of content into assets for every channel, convert leads in no time, and get a crystal clear view of your campaign performance. HubSpot can do all that and get you results fast, like double your leads in 12 months fast. Yeah. See, told you this wasn't your typical software ad. Visit HubSpot.com/marketers to get started for free.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, March 6th. I'm Mark Dent, here with Juliet Bennett-Ryla, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Today, we're going to talk about the internet. That's a capital I internet, because if you haven't noticed, a lot of people think the internet is a mess, having shifted into a model run by big tech and focused on maximizing engagement and trying to get you to subscribe to everything. But one expert suggests that there could be a door open for startups who are trying to bring back a more user-friendly experience to the web. So we're going to chat about all of that in a bit, but first let's give you the hits and headlines across business and tech. Okay, let's start with eggs. They're expensive and they're harder to find these days, in large part because of the avian flu, which has reduced hen populations and ipso facto reduced egg supply. But is that really the whole story? An analysis from Food and Water Watch, according to The Guardian, found that corporations are profiting from the crisis, raising their prices above what they would actually need to. And the report even highlighted areas where egg prices spiked before avian flu affected poultry, and at times when egg production recovered, that the prices did not decline. Yeah, Juliet, what can you tell us about Big Egg and everything going on here?
You know, it's similar to reports that indicated that there were grocery stores price gouging even when they didn't have to amid the pandemic, even when they didn't have to, using inflation as an excuse. And it looks like that's maybe the same thing that could be happening here. One interesting fact from this report is the largest egg producer in the United States is Cal-Maine. A staggering number of eggs that we eat come from Cal-Maine. They're the biggest player in the market. They reported $1.2 billion in gross profits in fiscal year 2023. That is a sevenfold increase, despite the fact that the flu did not impact its birds at all during that period. So,
intriguing.
You gotta wonder, why did the prices need to be so high? Was it simply to pay your shareholders a lot of money or to make a lot of profits? You gotta wonder.
Right. What came first, the profit gouging or the bird flu? And
Right.
I think we may know the answer in some cases. In more money concerns, let's move on to the trade wars. They've calmed down a little bit in the last 24 hours. President Donald Trump, of course, had announced that they would go into effect Tuesday against Mexico and Canada. But there's been a little bit of a change. Most significantly, the White House has said that tariffs on automakers will be delayed for at least 30 days. And Trump's Commerce Secretary told Bloomberg TV that the tariffs in Canada and Mexico wouldn't be on 100% of products. So it's possible that we'll see some more exceptions in the coming days. You know, this tariff story has been changing pretty much every day. So I think it's pretty likely that we'll see some more updates on that. Let's move on to Disney. The House of Mouse is joining pretty much everyone else by announcing layoffs. According to the Wall Street Journal, about 200 employees will be cut from its entertainment networks and ABC News. That's about 6% of employees in those divisions. Moving over to AI, Google has a new product for you. It's a tool called Vision Match, and it lets shoppers describe the piece of clothing they want and then browse suggestions. The tool was previously an experiment, but it's now available to all US mobile users. So, I mean, give it a shot, I suppose, if you're interested. I actually might. This sounds like the fun AI tool that I've been waiting for in some ways.
Yeah, I could see this being very helpful if you're looking for something specific. Like, let's say you're trying to do a Halloween costume. I feel like, you want a very specific type of shirt, pants, whatever costume you're going for, wig. And it's often hard to find when you're just like going to Target or even Spirit Halloween.
Yep.
Like a lot of times I'm like, I want a pencil skirt and I want it this length and I want it this color. And then it's like, here's everything you didn't ask for. So I could see this being particularly helpful, assuming that it works and assuming that it really does match you with, the types of things you're looking for.
Totally. I think the assuming that it works is perfectly key. It's essentially like a personal shopper if it works really well. And if it doesn't, it's basically like Google Images or something.
Right.
All right, one more AI story. We're about to see an expansion in robot massages. The AI massage startup Ascape just raised $83 million to expand its services. The company, which currently has 40 robots on the market, will ship out an additional 400 this year, with plans to install bots at 60 Equinox gyms. And finally, YouTube. The video platform reached 125 million YouTube Music and Premium subscribers. That's up 25 million from last year. And it also launched a $7.99 a month Premium Lite pilot for US users. So a lot more people paying money for YouTube. All right, let's move on to the main story, which is, I guess, somewhat about YouTube and Google, the owner of YouTube, and some of these other big companies that we've already been talking about, which is that there's this feeling a little bit on the internet that it's just not so much fun anymore. And there could be an opportunity in that. But Juliet, first, as anyone who reads our newsletter today will see that you have this great line that just says, "Hi, have you realized that everything sucks now?" What do you mean by that?
Simply that. I have noticed, I don't know if our readers feel the same, but I've talked about this with other people, so I don't think it's just me. I lose probably 1 to 3 hours of every single day of my life dealing with stuff that just doesn't work. And there are a lot of times where I just have to give up on things that should be very simple. And I mean having to deal with stupid, glitchy apps and things that just don't work when I'm paying my rent, making a doctor's appointment, watching my smart TV, just using websites, trying to do laundry. It's just like a constant onslaught of error messages, ads. Even in the last couple days, I was like, I'm going to watch the Oscars opening monologue. No, I'm not. I used to just be able to turn on the TV, Super Bowl, the debates, whatever. It was on broadcast TV, which, was ad supported, supposed to be free. No, my smart TV was like, we can't access your Hulu account at this time. Here are some other stations, see these free channels. And it's like, oh, I have to create a whole account. I have to give them all my data. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, you don't actually have the thing. And it's just like endless. Then later I tried to order a pizza and it's like, we could not complete your order because we can't understand your credit card. Even today, like my credit card wouldn't process to pay my rent because they were tacking on a $71 fee. And my credit card company was like, we don't know what this is. The $700 litter robot machine that I purchased because I was told I'd be a bad cat owner if I didn't get it for them doesn't work. The app to reset, it's like, we can't reset it at this time because your cat's in it. I'm like, I'm looking at my 2 cats and they're standing here waiting to pee. They're not in there.
Yeah, it's just like the whole smart sort of functioning, apps for everything, online for everything. Well, it obviously makes sense, certainly in theory, and we are so plugged in, et cetera. It's like, those apps they were targeted to help people, I think, once upon a time. And now it's more just like, how can we use it to keep people hooked or make money, basically? And I think there was a guy named Cory Doctorow who called this enshittification.
Right.
And now there's Ed Zitron, who has another term called rot economy. Who is Zitron and what's he talking about?
So he's the CEO of Easy PR, which is a PR firm that reps startups. So, he has some vested interest in going after big tech and, pumping up people that are taking them on. He's also the host of the podcast Better Offline. He's got a great blog if you want to read some great rants about this kind of stuff. And he's actually been talking about the rot economy for a while now. It's not a new term, but the reason we're talking about him now is he recently appeared on TechCrunch's Equity podcast. And it was, I don't know, I thought it was very fun. I thought his appearance was really awesome to listen to as someone who is constantly staring at my phone going, why isn't this working?
Yeah, the two of you definitely seem to be on the same wavelength.
Yes, that is for sure.
Yeah. And so Zitron's whole point was kind of some of the stuff we were just saying there, making shareholders happy rather than focusing on consumers. He also said that he thinks that big tech is confident users will stick with them, but that's not necessarily the case. I mean, does he think that people are getting fatigued enough to actively seek an alternative to this sort of internet that we have and these sort of big tech products that we have?
Well, I think he thinks there's a door for it, for sure. The enshittification theory that Cory Doctorow has is you have the platform, it provides value to the users to get all the users to sign up. I think we all remember when Airbnb was fun and Uber was cheap and Netflix had like boundless content and no ads. Then it has to provide value to business customers. So those are our advertisers. And then it has to provide value to the shareholder. That's the end target. And that is why everything sucks for us, because now we exist to provide data and to look at ads, and the product sucks for us. with Ed Zitron's rot economy, he's really blaming one thing for this, and that is growth, endless growth.
Right.
And it's never enough. And I think about this a lot because I remember there was a quarterly earnings report that Netflix had, and it was still the largest streaming platform in the world, but it had lost subscribers for the first time. And it stock dipped a little bit. And then it laid a ton of people off and canceled a bunch of shows. And being in LA, I knew a lot of people who were affected by those decisions, who were involved in shows that Netflix had been bragging about bringing to fruition and then canceled because it lost subscribers and yet was still the largest streaming platform in the world. I think he talks a lot about it. And I think in many ways he's correct that this quest for endless growth is unsustainable.
Yeah.
You know, when you get to a point where you have the most subscribers it makes sense for you to have, everyone has adopted your platform, and that's still not enough. You still need quarter over quarter growth, quarter over quarter bigger profits. What do you have to do? You have to find new revenue stream. That's ads, that's data, and now everything sucks.
Yeah.
And what he is saying is, as consumers, we are suffering the brunt of this, and there may be a shift away from big tech as we get fed up. And I think we've seen this a little bit in people saying, you know what, Airbnb sucks now. I got to pay a $200 cleaning fee and do my own dishes. I'm going back to the hotel. And we saw a ton of people dump X in favor of Blue Sky. Maybe those patterns will continue. But the most interesting thing I think he said was that not every company has to be a $100 billion company.
Right. You just need to make more money than you spend.
Right, exactly.
And for a lot of people, that makes them happy and should.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't necessarily, I don't know, maybe they do. I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't say, you know what I want to be? I want to be a unicorn. I want to be a unicorn that I'm in TechCrunch and I'm in all the trades and I have a ton of money and I grow. And everybody, an IPO and I get to do all these things. And then also everyone hates me. Everybody hates me and talks about how the product sucks. I don't think that's anyone's desire. And I think we've seen these companies that get really big like that. I mean, there's a ton of reports that have been coming out. They're talking about zombie unicorns, which are these companies that are massively overvalued. And now as VC funding is drying up, they're struggling because they were never worth that much in the first place. I think there's room for a company that wants to come in, have a good product, have customers who like them, and make a profit and have that profit be sustainable and stable and ongoing, as opposed to this relentless, seemingly endless rat race to try to, I don't know, turn your music player into an everything app.
Yeah. It seems like the ideal thing here is that an entrepreneur who wants to be happy should create something that makes other people happy. And, you know, with that person's incentive to be happy, they won't try to turn it into a mess and care so much about over-ending nonstop quarter over quarter profits and just, you know, make a little bit of money, make enough, right?
Yeah, it's so funny that like that's no longer
in vogue.
Right. Didn't it used to be the American dream where you're like, I'm going to have a business and it's going to be this restaurant.
And I'll hang up a tile, you know what I mean? And
yeah. This was my first dollar bill.
Well, we'll see. It could be coming back if people are as tired of big tech as Ed Zitron and so many others.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for us today. So thank you, everybody, for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. So if you're not subscribed, please go get signed up at thehustle.co/email. And if you're an especially big Hustle stan, you can follow us on Instagram at The Hustle Daily. We'll see you tomorrow.